What's going on, everybody? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. I'm here with a retro review of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the 2000 edition. That's right, the Jim Carrey one. Before I go any further, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video, and visit their Patreon link in the description below. Give it a click, donate whatever you choose, and I will graciously appreciate it. Thank you. So, if you're here from my retro review of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the first one, which I really couldn't give a rating for that. I mean, I guess gun to my head, just because it's not my favorite and you can enjoy it, I would give it a 4 out of 5. I guess I should have said that there, but this one without doubt is my favorite one here, right? This is Jim Carrey. This is the man. This is the guy, the man of 1,000 faces. I mean, he's coming off of what we have in Living Color. Do you have Ace Ventura? Then you have The Mask. Then you have Ace Ventura again. What other stuff was Jim Carrey in? He seemed like he was everywhere. You know, Liar Liar, Yes Man, although those are later in 2000s. Bruce Almighty. Perfect guy for this. And, you know, if we're talking about current stuff, I mean, Eggman and Robotnik and the Sonic movies, which I probably should sit down and review those. I did watch Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and about over a year ago when that Knuckles show came out. I did not put that review out, but I'm going on a small tangent. In the Grinch, well, the Grinch in this movie actually likes small tangents. Let's get some background here, right? Apparently this role was going to be offered to not Anthony Hopkins, Jack Nicholson, Eddie Murphy, Robin Williams, Adam Sandler. All those guys except for Jack Nicholson I couldn't see, because this it feels like this role needed you to be funny. Ron Howard did a great job. Practical effects, only a little bit of CGI, especially around the eyes. Notoriously, Jim Carrey was very angry and hostile because it took 2 hours to do the makeup of the Grinch. Now, there had to be a little bit of negotiating here to get him to, you know, lower his temperament so you can get the makeup artist back in here. Carrey was a big fan of Don Knotts, so Ron Howard brought Don Knotts in so you can meet him. Pardon me. He also did some training with a former SEAL Team 6 consultant, just so he can learn how to endure torture, which we've heard before. Sitting in those makeups, it can take a while, but now we have newer processes, which you got mocap. As a matter of fact, Carrey has been on record as saying he would do the Grinch if they want to do a reboot or a remake or whatever with live action ish. He would do it again as long as he can do mocap, because he cannot sit through that makeup. I guess the makeup for Dr. Robotnik is a little less strenuous. We do see more of him, right? This is like a big ass fursuit here. What do we take over from the original? Well, he does do the smile, right? The big old smile. He does it early on, you know, before he comes up with the idea. And if memory serves me correct, I think he does it when he comes up with a terribly awful idea. We do have some of the rhyming. We have some. Doesn't rhyme all the way through. We have some of the rhyming with the major parts, like it came without bags and without tags, or the one where he says they'll sing, and they'll feast. They'll have their who pudding and their who roast beast, stuff like that, right? From the OG, The Cave. This will make sense when I talk about the 2018 The Grinch, but The Cave is very much a cave home. He makes everything just like the other one, although the other Grinch just had a sleigh, made his outfit. Our Grinchy Poo here, he makes his outfits. He has gadgets. He made the sleigh, which I think now, because of the time period, because, you know, we're now approximately 34 years since the first one. Sleighs are a little bit bigger, a lot more red because of Santa Claus, right? He's building everything much nicer than Max. Although, you know, he tells him shut up or he yells at him. Max will bite him and get him to do the right thing. Got him to save Cindy Lou Who, although you feel like he was gonna do it anyway, right? But bit him right on his butt. This Grinch eats trash. Now, something I didn't mention in the first one, we see him bite a toothpick and then chew the rest. Was that the inspiration for like the Grinch biting ceramics, eating glass? He eats trash. In here, Mount Crumpet, where he lives, is the dumping place of the Who's. Clearly, I say this somewhat facetiously, but I'm being all very serious when I say this is Ron Howard's Lord of the Rings. Like, there is Who lore. And just like in the original, and actually another one, what's interesting is these wide shots of Whoville. Now, obviously, in the cartoon, and you're basing off the book, Whoville's going to look kind of small. Here, when you're far away, it looks small. But when you get in there, it's so hustle and bustle, and it's like tight corners, and it feels much bigger than what it looks like on the outside. And you still have those houses on the outskirts, which makes me want to go, man, who lives there? What's going on there? Which is kind of touched upon in 2018 one when you have was it Bramblebond, Bandersnatch? No, what is that character's name? Bricklebomb. But we're not talking about that movie. We're talking about this one. What else is from the OG besides the rhyme? There's some rhyming. The cave is there. Cindy Lou Who has a much bigger part here, and the lesson here. In the first movie, the lesson was for the Grinch. Here, the lesson is for the Grinch and Cindy Lou. Because Cindy Lou and that very famous song sung by Faith Hill, Where Are You Christmas? First sung by Cindy Lou. What is the actress name? She's actually a singer, right? She's a singer right now, currently. I feel bad. Go up, go up, go up. Yeah, we're doing it live. Taylor Momsen. So I had to watch a tiny bit of this before I jumped on here just so I could make sure I remember the nice finer details. Narrated by Hannibal Lecter himself, Anthony Hopkins. Man, I already said this is my favorite one out of the three. He's definitely better than who does the 2018. Wait till I get to that one. But it's good here, but you can't beat Boris Karloff, right? Boris Karloff does such a great job. I prefer Jim Carrey's Grinch, but I like Boris Karloff's narration. But Anthony Hopkins does a great job all the same. I want to talk about music, because I'm definitely going to talk about music in Illuminations, The Grinch. So the other movie, there was 4 songs that I think is on the soundtrack. Welcome Christmas, which is still in here with the ha, hu, do, res, fa, fu, mores, whatever. But we also have this rendition of You're Me One, Mr. Grinch. Now, here's what's crazy. I already told you Faith Hill is on here, right? Well, I had to look up the soundtrack. There's Grinch 2000. That's Busta Rhymes featuring Jim Carrey. I'm glad I never knew that song existed, because the music here fits with the music. Now, notably, I think, who said this? Was it Variety? No, Heather Ferris from All Music wrote, how come Danny Elfman wasn't doing this? And it was James Horner, lead producer of this. I actually don't remember a lot of Horner stuff. I know Horner. I don't remember some of his stuff. Y'all gotta bear with me. This won't be a long one. What was he in? Field of Dreams, Avatar. I wanted to say Avatar, not Last Airbender, the one with the blue people and the blue butts. Aliens, Beautiful Mind, Braveheart, Apollo 13, Casper. Damn, Zorro. He's done all the good stuff. Karate Kid 2010, yeah. But The Amazing Spider-Man. So he can get those nice swells with his orchestra, and I believe the orchestra was the Hollywood Studio Symphony. But he does a great job. But I can understand what you mean. Like, this feels very much like kind of like a Tim Burton joint, because of all the practical effects, the Who's looking like these, I don't want to say freak monsters, but look at his with the snout here. Now, obviously in the cartoon, they're kind of flat, and they have these, I guess gourd shaped heads. Here they have like little rat snouts and things like that. We do get, like in the original, we get Who's of all different sizes. We got the little tiny one who does the jazz solo inside of the tuba. We get the little tiny ones driving. We even see the Grinch jump in there, and we get a comically large explosion. That's another callback for a Seussian thing, if you will. Now for You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, it is Jim Carrey singing it. And they did it when he's doing the tinkering and he's making all the things. So the soundtrack, all that, very passable. I also found out that Frank Welker did some of the voice dog work for Max, who's played by Kelly, the dog. They have 6 different dogs playing it, but Kelly was the main dog, and they shaved and colored the other dogs to look like her. All humanely, I promise. They all had different things they were good at. Frank Welker, you know Frank Welker, voice actor who's done Scooby-Doo since forever. Fred Jones from Scooby-Doo, Megatron and Galvatron and Soundwave. He's done just Jabberjaw. I feel like he's done other stuff that I don't. I'm thinking like the classics, but he's Bronx from the Gargoyles. So Frank Welker has that top tier pedigree right there. Dino Mutt from Laugh Olympics. Damn, Laugh Olympics. I digress. I could go on and on. We have, so in here, Cindy Lou Who has 2 twin brothers. Drew, is it Drew Lou? It's Drew and hold on, because her dad's name is Lou. It's Lou Who. Her mom's Betty Lou Who, played by Bill Irwin and Molly Shannon. Wow. But it's Drew Lou and Stu Lou Who. Which apparently in here, there's not just Who's, but there's Whoviers and Whomeyers and Whoviers. We're introduced to Martha May. Martha May Whovier, who is the Grinch's boo main squeeze. So this here, I feel like this movie sets the standard for the Grinch having more of a backstory. We find out, apparently, when Cindy Lou, who was saved by the Grinch, talks to the Grinch's adoptive parents, we find out that Who's are dropped in on parasols, but they call them something else, right? Like, I was going off on how some of those names, those Seussian names for those inventions are kind of weird, but they have Seussian names in here as well, but they blend in so well with the dialogue, you kind of ignore it. But they come in, we see them on a broken umbrella. Now, it kind of reminds you of the stork, how the stork drops in. We get a nice adult joke about the guy goes, "Hey, honey, our baby's here. Why does he look like my boss?" Funny. A lot of adult things. Even Jim Carrey stuff is great. You know, like when he takes off the kilt and there's what is the things that ladies wear on their legs? A garter. There's a garter around it. Hilarious. But it makes me wonder, do they actually float down? Does he have a penguin-esque backstory? You know, alluding to the Danny Elfman. Like, is he like the penguin? Like, his parents like, ugh, we don't want this thing. Who knows? But they loved him, but it seemed like he's always had a thing against Christmas. Also, an allusion here. This is so funny. I hate to say this. Do you know what key parties are? If you don't, look them up. I'm not going to explain what key parties are, but it's also alluded that his parents missed him coming into the world because they were at a key party. And that means his daddy could be anybody. His mama could be anybody, but we ain't going to talk about that. We not talking about that. That's funny. Martha May. I call this Ron Howard's Lord of the Rings because there's so much backstory. You even have the Book of Who, which is kind of like a Bible, and the mayor, what's this jackass's name again? Augusta May Who. Such a blowhard. When he's going back and forth with Cindy Lou, who thinks a lot of the stuff they do for Christmas is so superfluous. She's wondering has Christmas changed or have I changed? And her view of Christmas is like, it shouldn't, she's like, everyone should be invited, including the Grinch. Here in this movie, the Grinch is hated and feared. It's racism. Yeah, because he's green and he's furry. Augusta is the one that led the charge when they were little, making fun of our little Grinchy Poo, like the jackass he is. But Martha May has always liked him, even though she doth the lady protest too much. But we see in the backstory, she's liked him. Incredible, amazing detail to pay attention to. I wonder if this Grinch is 53 years old. This is the 1000th Whobilation, by the way. So who knows how long these Who's and whatever the Grinch is, because even Lulu, who, he's like, well, he's not exactly a who, he's a what. But through all of this time, Martha May still wears the jewels from the angel he made her in her hair. What else does she do? She wears the green skirts. She wears the green makeup. She's also played by Christine Baranski. Martha May. She's a smoke show, man. Very comical. Jim Carrey, it's what you get with Jim Carrey. Him going back and forth whether he wants to be there, is it a trap, and him, I don't want to say being lured in by Cindy Lou. By the way, Cindy's mama here, Betty Lou. I already said Molly Shannon, but Betty Lou. But being lured in here, she needs to believe that everyone can be happy and have a Christmas, and she wants the Grinch to be happy. And she kind of does wear on his heart a little bit, because she's the one that changes all the other Who's. It's like, and even gives her dad the curse, like, no, you don't talk to my daughter that way, fool. She's right. We've all been carrying on about all this. Like, her mom cares about this light competition against Martha May. They're all with the extravagance and all this other stuff. Even the Cheermeister thing, which Ron Howard, dude, good job fleshing this stuff out from just a cartoon and a book. But all that stuff is so superfluous, like Cindy Lou says. And her bringing that out of them and telling them we don't need all this stuff, and they all saying the ha hu dores da do dores, snap your finger, do your step, and the Grinch hears it, and his heart that is 2 sizes too small, also from the original, grew 3 sizes that day, also from the original. You always got to keep that. You cannot get rid of that whenever you do Grinch stuff. That has to be in there, period. Another thing, the Grinch got super strength when he heard the Who singing in the original. Here, he's just freakishly strong, which is funny to me because all this time he could have just like taken out Augusta, like just one, or you could just hit him one good time, send his ass past Mount Crumpet. I'm just saying. I already said Augusta May sucks. I already said Martha May loves him. Dang, there's really not much to talk about. Like, what do you want me to talk about? Favorite scenes? Jim Carrey steals the scenes here. He really does steal the show. I enjoy the funny back and forth he has with Max, and Max doesn't say anything. Or, like, when he sneaks into town to cause some trouble because of Lou's kids bothering him. They're about to jump in the tunnel, which they have giant tunnels to send all their trash. Which he makes a point. You guys throw away the stuff you get last year, and I get it. It's all with me, which I like. It adds to his MacGyvering of making things. It's pretty awesome. Although he did steal the later hosen from that one yodeling Who, which is kind of one of his iconic looks now. Huh. But, the funny scene when they're going to the dumpster, when Max is about to come, he's like, hey, fleas before beauty. And he gets in, he's like, oh, hurry up and come in. I like that, doesn't abuse Max, chooses Max to be the reindeer. I don't know how the hell that works out, but it really does in here. Classic movie. Did absolutely dog shit when we're talking about ratings. I mean, if you watch this on Peacock, they tell you the Metacritic rating is not the Metacritic. The Rotten Tomatoes is 50%. The Metacritic is 46. But unlike the original, which told us how much it cost, $315,000, this costs $123 million to make. Guys, it made $350.1 million. It made its money back and then some. Because if you double it, that would be 246. It made its money back and then some, which always makes you wonder, wow, we were in an era where they didn't automatically do sequels. And how could you do a sequel? My inspiration for talking about this movie and talking about this trilogy as a whole, it's the 25th anniversary for this movie. Came out November 8th, 2000. Damn, I feel old. But yes, this is my favorite of the three. Not discrediting any of the other ones. And since I retroactively gave the first one a 4 out of 5, this is my 5 out of 5 one. So there are certain movies that you always sit down and watch from beginning to end, movies that you put on in the background so you can do other stuff, and then movies you put on so that you can jump in and jump out. This is one of those movies for me where, like, I'll sit down and I will mess around and watch it from beginning to end, or I'll put it on and I'm like just waiting for this particular part. All right, now I'm keyed in while I'm doing other stuff. It is an all the time movie. All the time. You can watch this all the time. You should mostly watch it during the holiday season, but you can watch this all the time. Love it all. Adult jokes. A lot of Ron Howard family members in here, which is pretty funny. Little Easter egg, 2 Easter eggs. Cindy Lou gives Max green eggs and ham, funny. And then there is an elephant statue that is Horton, who hears the Who's, which these might be the same Who's that Horton has heard. Say all that 3 times fast. Is there anything else? And 2 things. When the Grinch pulls the tablecloth off with all of the stuff on top, everything was supposed to fall off the first time. That was one take with Jim taking the thing off, and then he goes back to toss it all down. And then the other one is when he's pretending to be a director. He's actually making fun of Ron Howard, and Ron Howard thought it was hilarious and said, we're keeping that in the movie. There's so many other details, like the patches on the mail. Lulu, who is also a mail worker, right? The Grinch has a mailbox that no one puts anything in. That's so interesting. Racism against the Grinch, being mean to the Grinch. Poor dude. But he gets his comeuppance and he becomes a better person. And him and Cindy Lou understand the real meaning behind Christmas. Fantastic movie. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, the Grinch is the only character without who in his name. Very interesting. Is Grinch is it like Madonna? Is that kind of like what it is? Just trying to make sure there's nope, there's nothing else. Fun. Also the funny was the one scene when he's in a newspaper and he's walking around like Sasquatch. That was also funny. Let me know. Do you like this one the most? I like this one the most. Tell me your thoughts and your feelings and your connections with How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey edition, the Ron Howard edition, the 2000 edition. I actually want to hear from you. So please leave a comment down below. Do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified of more reviews like this. And don't forget to share this video, and the Patreon link is in the description below. Click it, donate. I appreciate you fully. So again, happy holidays, guys. Please be good, be blessed. Drink some water, wash your hands, have some eggnog, have some apple cider. Just don't be a jerk to people. All right. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. And I know this is a rough time for a lot of people. You know, I don't even have to name the things, right? Aside from seasonal depression, you know, we think of loved ones that we've lost. We think of friends that we lost. But we don't have to carry those burdens alone. It's a rough world. Feels like it gets rougher every day. But talk to someone. There's someone out there who wants to be your Cindy Lou. There's someone out there who is your Cindy Lou. Someone out there who would rather talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow, and who will gratefully and happily help you carry those burdens. All right. You want to talk to me? My social medias are also in the description below. Give me a follow, say hello, be mellow, and we be good to go. All right. So last time I did a rhyme, and I don't know if I could, and if I didn't, it might be a crime. But here's a thing that I will state as fact. You know me, I'm going to be right back. So stay tuned. On the morrow, I'm doing 2018's The Grinch. I'll be back in a pinch.